Okay, so this is a really important chapter in TFM. It's chapter 21, the benefits of adjusted substance use. Pretty much what's going on here, like we're going to read through it and I'm going to show you why this is so important if you want to quit porn, right? And if you want to quit porn and it be a lasting change and it not be a battle. So here we go. Typically, when people make a formal attempt to address a substance use problem through treatment or support groups, they believe that they must quit completely. If they don't arrive at this conclusion themselves, the helpers in the recovery society often try to force it upon them using scare tactics, and they face ultimatums from loved ones or the legal system to fully abstain. This isn't as relevant for PMO. The result is, here's the important part, the result is they hastily jump to abstinence as their goal with little thought to the potential benefits of abstinence. In fact, from the substance user's point of view, the goal of abstinence usually doesn't appear to have any benefits. Instead, they see it as a significant loss. They think it's what they have to do or should do. They don't see it as something that they want to do. Proceeding with a hastily chosen goal that you don't really want is a recipe for failing at that goal. There is no personal investment in such a goal, and there is no real motivation, which means that as quickly as the goal is adopted, it is often and just as quickly abandoned. Throughout our history of running retreats, our speciality has been helping those who have been in and out of multiple rehabs, the hopeless cases. Again, this isn't as important for PMO, but the term hopeless cases definitely rings true because there are a shit ton of quote-unquote hopeless cases, which it's not really a thing. You're never hopeless. You might feel like you are. I certainly did. Years ago, I felt extremely hopeless, and you probably feel that way too. It's extremely common in this space. And it's sad, it's horrible, but the reason why I don't take it as seriously now is because I know it's not hopeless, and when you come to that realization, you won't feel hopeless. Anyway, even now, most of our guests come to us because they failed with Recovery Society methods many times, and we promise a truly different approach to the problem. So this is why this is so important, because I was failing with NoFap for 6 years, and then I found this and it worked. For many in this group, why the fuck is that there? Right, anyway. For many in this group, we are their last shot. As such, we refuse to encourage yet another hastily chosen attempt at abstinence that ends in failure and leaves our guests feeling more hopeless. Please don't misunderstand us. We are not advising against abstinence, and we should mention that if you are in a very destructive and dangerous pattern of substance use, abstaining completely can be a wonderful decision to make. It is fast and relatively easy way to immediately remove a massive amount of risk from your life. And so, hastily chosen or not, it can be a great and effective choice. However, we are also concerned with the long-term and bigger picture. We are concerned with your finding a lasting solution. To that end, the key difference in the freedom model approach is that we have always asked our guests to contemplate making a change for greater personal happiness. We ask them not to adjust their substance use because they fear consequences or feel like they are obliged to, but to adjust it because it may be an enjoyable way for them to live. Are you ready to make that choice towards greater happiness? So here it is, okay? Here's how this reflects in the NoFap community, right? You've got guys like Hamza and you've got neuroscientists, etc., telling you must quit, and you feel cornered into quitting, even though you might be telling yourself, oh, I must quit, like it's having such these negative consequences, but you're not making a choice in the way of greater happiness in that instance. You're feeling cornered and coerced into making that choice. That's what this chapter is really on about. And I have so many dudes commenting, being like, oh, like, I must quit, it's fucking up my life, Jay, this is fucking up my life. And I'm like, yeah, but quitting out of fear or by coercion or by way of an ultimatum that you're giving to yourself, it never works. It never worked for me, and it's not fucking going to work for you, is it? And you've done it before. Have you ever made a quit attempt? Making a change towards genuinely greater happiness? Have you tried that before? Has it ever felt like that? If it did feel like that, did it feel like that for a while, but then you slip back into it? Right? So during that time where it did feel like you were moving towards greater happiness, did it feel awesome then? Did it feel deprived then? Did it just feel great then? Do you see what I mean? Do you see the difference? There's such a difference between doing something because you want to do it and doing something because you feel coerced, either by influencers or by yourself or by this self-improvement community at large. If you consider, I don't have to quit this, and then you think, okay, what do I want personally? Me. Not what I think other people want for me, not what I think I should do because of influencers and because of YouTubers and because of Reddit and because of people online, or what you think you should do to make your life better and beyond self-improvement. Forget that. Just think about what you want to do for your own life personally for you, and you'll find that you'll probably come to the conclusion of, yeah, I do want to happily abstain. But you see the difference in the decision making that you've arrived to in this way. In this way, deciding what you want for your personal happiness is coming from you, and it's genuine. It's not coming from the outside. It's you making the choice. It's like, you know, when your mum nags you to like tidy your room, but you don't want to. I would never tidy my room. I would just ignore, or like my mum would tell me to do some like task, and I just never would do it. And you'd be argue, yeah, it's disrespectful to your mother, and it's like, yeah, but in those instances, I perceived it as not really that big of a deal. I thought she was overreacting, and I was like, I don't want to do it. If I just not do it, like, I don't really give a shit, you know? And all, I feel like as sons, we go through that quite a lot, with like your mother like nagging you to do something, and you just kind of like just dismiss it, and you're like, fuck that, I can't be asked. It's not a big deal. You just shove it to one side. Do you see the difference in that, and then you actually personally wanting to do something? You know, like, you know the difference between when this is a great example. I had a time where like I didn't really give a shit about like making my room clean and stuff, and so I would just kind of leave it a little bit like messy. And I went through a period in my life during my first year where I was watching like Jordan Peterson. This was years ago, and he was like, tidy your room, and I was like, I got into this stage where I was like, hang on, if I tidy my room and make it peng, I'm talking peng, like if I make it unreal, that's gonna make me happier. And I spent like a couple of hours just, mate, I tidied my room so much. It was spotless. It was so nice in there. And then afterwards I looked at it and I was like, this is unreal. I took a seat and I was like, it was so nice. And that's when I realised, like, I actually want to have a clean room. Like, it's actually paying, like, I actually like it. I actually want to do it. And then I remember I was telling all my friends, like, it was kind of funny. I was like, guys, I clean my room and it's fucking unreal and I love it. And they're like, all right. But for me, it was very profound because I never really realised that. I never really realised how like unreal it can feel to have like a fucking awesome room and just sit there, and it's like you look around, there's no, like, the carpet is peng, the tabletops are unreal, everything's tidy, you know where everything is. I was like, oh, the peace of mind is unreal. That's the type of motivation that lasts, you know. You know, you might not keep your room tidy, you might go back and forth, but usually with the PMO stuff, you're not going to go back and forth once you realise you're in control, because it is quite damaging, right? Like with a tidy room, like some days you feel like it, some days you don't, whatever. You're aware that you're making that choice. With PMO, it's so damaging. Like once you quit, you're probably just going to quit, and maybe you just jerk off like a few times, or maybe you jerk off but you don't watch porn. You know. What I'm trying to say with that analogy is that you need to make a, well, you don't need to, but I implore you to make a change in a positive direction, because that's what's going to create, where does it say? We're concerned with the long term and the bigger picture. We're concerned with finding a lasting solution. Yeah. If you quit yourself with coercion or with like accountability or whatever, like I really don't like accountability because it's just coercion. You're like, bro, make sure I don't relapse, bro. Every day we're going to check in with each other. And it's like, bro, if you really wanted to quit, you wouldn't need to be accountable. You don't need accountability. You can if you want, and maybe that would work, but it's not going to be in a positively motivated way, and you're probably going to go back to it. It needs to be in a positive way. Do you see the mindset shift? And this is why panic doesn't work. Fear and panic never work, because what you do when you're fear and panicked is you are hastily jumping to abstinence as your goal, with little thoughts of the potential benefits of abstinence, and you really see it as a significant loss, but it feels like something you have to do. That doesn't work. You've got to actually want it. And the way you want it, I'm going to wrap up here, but the way you want it is by going through this whole fucking book This whole thing. Understand the whole fucking thing. It's long. Yeah, it's long. Yeah, it's long to. It's a long book to read. But what do you want me to do? Have a shortcut? I don't have a shortcut for you at this moment in time. I don't have a shortcut. In the future, maybe I'll find a way to condense this info, make it shorter. But for now, this is the best option you got. There is no fucking shortcut at the moment. This is the best option at the moment. At this moment in time. So, read the whole thing. Fantastic book. There are a lot of chapters. You need to understand the whole fucking thing, dude. Understand the whole thing. And then once you really understand the whole thing, you're going to be able to do your benefits to benefits analysis. And you're going to realize, hey, I could actually be better off like quitting this shit. And then you're like, fuck. And then you do it. And then like time passes and then you realize, oh, this is actually a really better life for me. It's actually a really better life for me. And then you're like, yeah, I'm done. And you're like, yeah, cool. All right. And then you move the fuck on and you sing praises about this book and you become someone who really does understand this trap and understands how to quit. That's it. Like this video to spread this based knowledge and share this video with people who you think could benefit. Like it for the algorithm so that we can spread this shit. We need to help people, man. We need to get people free from this shit. We need to spread this like good info. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't.